The following podcast is taken from a live broadcast on Inspire FM.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamiza.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you.
The following programme is a repeat.
Monday,
Please do not message or call in.
September,
Any announcements
made. Shamiza taking you all the way up to 12 o'clock on the Urban Cube. This morning, we are discussing university, because we're following on from the Inspire FM student life section, going on to university, and there's lots of mums and dads and brothers and sisters saying goodbye to their siblings, and their children starting this wonderful new chapter in their life. And on today's show, we're going to be giving a few tips for mums and dads and students, if they're listening in, about university life and how to kind of well equip yourselves. We would be wonderful to find out from you guys if there's any tips that you could give to potential students going away. Apart from the topic of universities, I'm going to be also talking to great guests on the phone. This morning, locally and nationally. I'm going to be speaking to celebrity chef Shahnaz Ayub, who's going to be talking to us about life after 50 and empowering oneself through exercise and life changes. She'll be talking to us about life after 50, but I'll be also asking her about food for students living away, getting some tips from her as well, because as I've already mentioned, she is a celebrity chef with a very cool series for the love of food on Islam channel. The episodes are still continuing, and she is also the author of Perfectly Easy Indian Cooking, so be some good tips to get from her. Plus, I'm going to be joined by a guest all the way from Birmingham. I'll be talking to a gentleman by the name of Imran Hameed, who is the co-founder or the founder of the Salma Foodbank and also Bearded Broz. Now, he's a community activist who's done tremendous work in uniting the community surrounding him in the West Midlands through the food bank that he founded in memory of his late mother. And this work has really it's really touched the core of the community of Birmingham. So it'd be wonderful to find out about all the amazing projects that he does with the Salma Food Bank and the work that he's doing via Bearded Broz. Now, from one bearded bro to a bearded hiker, I'm going to be joined by one of the bearded hikers, which are, or beardy hikers, as they are a tremendous group of brothers who were part of the 3 Peak Challenge, and this was a challenge with climbing 3 of the highest mountains across England, Scotland and Wales in 24 hours. And the purpose of this hike was to fundraise for a centre in Luton for Friends of Bright Eyes, which is a disability charity. And I'll be speaking to Etisham Khan, who's going to be sharing with his journey, because the brothers, Bilal Hussein, who spoke to us about the hike, this was about 3 weeks ago, he shared the preparation of this journey, and alhamdulillah, they actually managed to achieve the hike in 24 hours. And I'm just catching up with Etisham to find out how that experience was, and also getting to find out how much money has been fundraised and how far what the next process is, because it's a disability centre that a dedicated centre in Luton that the hikers, or the bearded hikers, are wanting to fundraise for, and it'd be good to find out how far they've got. Now, on the show, I'm also asking you guys, are there any tips that you would give yourself now looking back at when you'd actually gone to university. What is it that you would have changed? Would love to find out from you on 07779481822. Now, this show is the Urban Cube. It is 4 minutes past 10, Monday, 23rd of September. I'm Shamiza, taking it all the way to 12 o'clock. It's been 2 weeks off air. I'm glad to be back, keeping you company, guys. And as always, look forward to finding out your thoughts on any of the topics we're going to be speaking about today. Now, I'm going to be speaking to no other than Shahnaz Ayub. She is a local lady who's really making her mark in the world of food, and in particular, easy cooking. That's what she's making a mark in. She is the lady behind the fabulous series called For the Love of Food. She's also an active member of Women Empowering Women, and she is a senior solicitor, but working very successfully in the field of law. She's a mother of 3, and one of her children is actually at university studying dentistry. So I think she'll be the perfect person to speak to us this morning about how she has prepared herself as a parent sending her child away to university. So today's show is about preparation. How do parents actually deal with sending their children away? I've got some great tips that I'm going to be sharing on the show this morning as well. Plus, I'm going to be speaking to Shahnaz about empowering oneself at 50. Does life continue at 50? Of course it does. But how do you keep yourself motivated and energized and looking after your mental well-being and health? So I'll be speaking to Shahnaz about that because that's as somebody the age of 50, she is really, embracing life. And it's been wonderful to see on my social media how active folk from the age of 50 are. Lots of women, lots of sisters are just out there doing their thing, and it's really, really inspiring. But I'm quite curious, are you somebody that actually lies about your age? Are you somebody, when you hit a certain age, that actually has told a bit of a fib and decided not to tell their proper age, depending on circumstance, maybe at work, putting your name, putting a different age on an application form? Are you that type of person? Does ageism impact you as a man or a woman when it comes to the working world? Or even if you're looking for a rishta, okay, do you lie about your age? Have you ever lied about your age? Would love to find out. Lots of topics on the show today. We're talking about university. We're talking about embracing your age, whatever that is. We're talking about people fibbing about their age. And we're also talking about compassion in the community through food banks. Now, the show is the Urban Cube. It's 07779481822. I'm Shamiza. Now, the weather outside is a little bit cold. I'm kind of wrapped up. And, autumn is really upon us. It was quite warm last week, but this week or today it seems a little bit cold. I'm actually embracing the cold weather. I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm really liking the slightly dark morning. It's still quite bright, but I don't know. It's given me a bit of a vibe, a cozy vibe. Makes me feel like having a cup of masala chai and paronta or paranta. I was wanting that this morning. Are you somebody that likes parante in a cold weather? Sort of, is it kind of like autumnal comfort food? I pronounce paranta or paranta. It's interesting, the different ways of pronunciation of this on social media. I'd seen a meme around the pronunciation of paranta. Is it paranta or is it paranta? How do you pronounce it? So much to talk about. And is that something, you have a weekend, or you eat it's leavened, fried chapati in butter? It's kind of marinated in butter. Is that something you have for breakfast at the weekend, or is that what you have in the week day. A little bit heavy on the stomach, but it's quite filling. Feel like having one now. Is it an early morning breakfast, or is it something that you have for brunch? Do tell me. Lots to talk about on today's show. It's 07779481822. I'm going to be taking you to a nasheed, inshallah. This is Saif Adam. Whilst we play this, I'll be back on the Urban Cube, hopefully catching up with some of your texts that you're sending in to me and some of your messages. If not, I'll be giving you some tips to parents about how to cope with sending your child off to university.
My face above the water, my feet can touch the ground, and it feels like I can see the sands on the horizon. Every time you are not around, I'm slowly drifting away, wave after wave, wave after wave. I'm slowly drifting away, and it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream. I'm pulling against the stream. Make dua, praise Allah, our iman will grow. Inshallah, we'll go far, there's a long way to go. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Oh, that's just the way it is. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. A wise man told me the youth are the future, so this one's out to you, let me paint you a picture. Alhamdulillah, we have so many brothers, but why don't we say salam when we walk past each other? Our elders are more focused on making profit, when we should be teaching the youth the stories of our prophets. Peace be upon them, may Allah forgive us, the youth are telling me they don't know who to trust. Everybody deserves a second chance, like Rabia Basmi from our homeland Iraq. She used to pray from night to light, and we take a million selfies just to choose what's nice. Wallahi, as God is my witness, we need to change. The ummah's in crisis. Famous poets with words so righteous, when Allama Akbar lines have some of the answers I mean. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Oh, that's just the way it is. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I wish I could make it easy. I reach to find a way. I'm stuck here in between. I'm looking for the right words to say. I'm slowly drifting away, wave after wave, wave after wave. I'm slowly drifting away, and it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream. I'm pulling against the stream. Make dua, praise Allah, our iman will grow. Inshallah, we'll go far, there's a long way to go. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Oh, that's just the way it is. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. A time on this earth can't be fixed with an Instagram filter. All the sins we're accountable for, so fear Allah, soon there'll be a knock on the door. We've got a chance to make a change, make a difference. So let's begin this new day with a new intention. So share this message, my brothers and sisters. Let us be the change and let's be the difference. Yeah, let us be the change and let's be the difference.
Well, I know it's more than love now, 'cause you mean everything. Hear you talking when you're sleeping. Reality, know you're going through hardship, and I know that you're scared, but you don't need to worry, 'cause Allah is there. Ooh, oh, I will never let you go. soul. And the choices that we made, we gotta make our own. Gotta stand on our feet as we take this direction. When we take on the world, all the diamonds and pearls couldn't take me away from your smile and your love. And I know you feel lost and you wanna give up. After every hardship comes ease, hardship comes ease. May Allah bless our way and our intention. Stay pure every day, be a better person. Open the gates to heaven. Guide us the way, guide us the way. Day by day we're getting old, and the stories that
Beautiful track by Saif Hadam, After Hardship Comes Ease. Folks, you're listening to the Urban Cube. It's 10:15 with me, Shamiza, taking it all the way up to 12 o'clock this morning. I'm going to be playing a few nasheeds and having conversations with great guests this morning. We're talking about food banks, we're talking about university life, and we're also talking about life after 50. It's all happening on today's show. If you want to join in with any of the conversations, then join us on 07779 481822. On the phone, I'm also going to be joined this morning by no other than Salma Khan from the Luton Foodbank. This is a Luton Foodbank. She's going to be talking to us about an activity that you guys can get involved with to make sure that we're raising enough food, finance really to accommodate the supply for the Luton Foodbank. Now, on the show, it's not the only food bank founder I'll be talking to. I'll be also talking to Imran Hameed later on in the show as well. So lots going on this morning, and if you've got any questions or any interest in any of the topics, then don't forget you can contact us on 07779 481822.
every hardship comes ease, hardship comes ease. Hardship comes in.
Assalamu alaikum, Salma. Salma, how are you this morning?
Walaikum salam. Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a bit of an early one for you, but we're really...
Thank you for having me.
As always, you've done the school run, right?
I have, and Monday mornings is just horrible.
Monday mornings is horrible, but you know what? It's the start of a great week, and as always, the Urban Cube is always on a Monday to motivate you through the week. Now, Salma, it's actually International Happiness at Work Day. Now, you're somebody that I know takes great pride in the work that you do, but the question I ask you is, are you happy at work today?
Alhamdulillah, I am happy. We've got a lovely event coming in the weekend, and I'm really excited organising it.
And the event is, Salma, tell us a little bit more about this event.
So this event has been organised in partnership with Amara Khan's family. It's basically Amara passed away 2 years ago on her return from Hajj. And her family did an event for her last year, which was water wells in her name, and Luton Foodbank was a charity that was close to Amra, and so the family decided to do an event with us, and they chose to do a family fun run.
MashaAllah.
So the children can also participate, and basically it's a family event, so everyone can participate in it. And so that's what we're doing. We're doing a family fun run this Saturday at 10 o'clock at Wardown Park in memory of Amra.
Wow, what a beautiful memory and legacy being left for Sister Amra. May she be granted Jannat for those. It's a beautiful, beautiful opportunity for the community to come together, and Luton is absolutely fantastic in doing participating in initiatives like this. Now, Salma, tell us, how can actually people get involved? Can you just turn up on the day, or do you have to go and sign up?
I mean, it'd be good if they can sign up so we can make registration packs, because what we're doing, we've got a special T-shirt made in memory of Amara, and we've got medals as well. And if we get too many people turn up, some people may be disappointed that they're not getting their T-shirt and their medal. And also we're going to be providing free water. So for stuff like that, we do need to know numbers on the day. The registration is really straightforward. They just need to click on the link that's on our website. It takes them to Eventbrite. The registration fee is £10 per runner or per family, but the registration will give you only one running pack, and if you want to buy extra on the day, that's fine. And the top minimum target is £100, which is really quite easy to obtain. I mean, my daughter's doing it and I'm doing it with her, and I didn't even message people. I just put it on my status, and we got the £100 really easily. Wow. So it's not difficult to achieve. We made it so it's achievable, and it also supports people in Luton that are going hungry.
And going hungry is something that unfortunately isn't just problem in Luton, it's also nationally as well. And we're going to be talking to a brother later on about what he's doing in the West Midlands with a food bank. Actually, Salma, believe it or not, it's called the Salma Foodbank.
Oh, wow. You know, people have asked me about that. Is it what is it called? The Bearded Brothers or something?
Yeah, the Bearded Brothers. I'm
definitely going to listen into that interview, because you always learn from other people, don't you?
Of course. And so this is all about the learning. It's all about the sharing, and it's all about the community compassion. And Salma, that's something you're very, very known to do with the Luton Foodbank. Now, what is the present status of the food bank at the moment, my dear? Because we have come out of the summer holidays, and summer holidays has always been, any school term holidays has always been quite a nervous time for the food bank because of the demand for more food packs.
I mean, the food parcels that are going out, up 250 parcels a week, it's extortionate amount of food going out through the food bank. We are short of food items every week. And at the moment we're buying food items to cover food parcels. So we're quite desperate at the moment for food. We've got a harvest campaign at the moment that we're running, so we're going into schools and doing assemblies and asking children to donate. But that's how we cover the winter period, is by doing harvest assemblies and getting the children to donate, because we're actually short of food items. I mean, the warehouse manager said to me that we're short of items, that we've only got 2 weeks worth of some items, and some items are just 1 week's worth. So we're buying twice or 3 times a week. So we are pretty desperate.
And it seems to be a national problem. I'm seeing my newsfeed full of the lack of resources and the demand for food parcels. Salma, the Luton Food Bank is a very active space. It's continuously working throughout the year. Is there anything you'd like to actually say to our listeners at the moment? Is there any opportunities for possibly volunteers to come forward and support the running of the food bank?
I mean, if anybody wants to support the food bank in any way, I mean, I say no to it. I don't say no to anybody, whether they want to give money or food, or they want to work with us or anything. Please just get in contact, and I will run through the different ways you can support us. You don't have to always give money. You don't always have to give food. Sometimes just giving your expertise and your time and just being an ambassador for the food bank is enough for us to spread the word. And maybe you'll speak to someone who will donate money, or you'll speak to someone who will give food. So don't ever think that you've got nothing to offer. Everyone out there has something to offer. So if you want to help us, just get in contact, and please promote the run for us. We're hoping for a good turnout, and it'll be such a lovely thing. I mean, Amara's children have been on the radio, and for them to do this kind of sadaqah jariyah for their mum, it's like a lesson for us, and for us to teach, an opportunity for us to teach our children that life is so short, and if something happens to us, carry on our legacies as well, and do some sadaqah jariyah for us too, because we're parents as well, aren't we, Shamiza?
Of course.
And for our children to do something like that would be so heartwarming, that they're carrying on our legacy.
And it's a beautiful legacy in the name of Sister Amara Khan. Do tell us one more time how people can get involved and participate in this fun run that's happening?
So our link's on Facebook. You can go on our website if you can't find it. You can even call me. You can call Tariq on Inspire FM. Any way you can. I mean, I'm going to ask Tariq to send the message out again. So please join us on the run. And if you're not joining on the run, Tariq is going to do the run, and donate to him if he can't join the run.
Inshallah. And when we mention Tariq, we're talking about Brother Tariq, the Rise and Shine show, a voice that you regularly hear in the morning on your school runs, guys. Now, talking about school runs, there's going to be lots of university students now starting university or making their way. Any advice you might want to give any parents that are a little bit nervous of sending their child away to uni before we head to the break, Salma? Yeah.
I haven't got any advice. My son's in college, and I'm dreading university. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, wait for the advice for me, actually.
Well, then you need to listen in because I will be sharing some information as part of our student fortnight, which we're continuing on today's show. So thank you so very much, Salma, for joining us. I know you're a very busy lady and you do some tremendous work, and it's an absolute pleasure having you always sharing the amazing work of the Luton Foodbank on the show.
Oh, Jazakallah for having me.
Take care, my dear. That was Walaikum Salam. That was Salma Khan of the Luton Foodbank talking about this run. Now we're heading off to a break, and after the break I'm going to be joined by another fantastic guest by the name of Shahnaz Ayub. We're talking life after 50. Join us straight after this. Assalamu alaikum.
On 105.1 FM, Inspire FM. Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamiza.
The following program.
We grew and far apart, so who would have known? Thank God one place us here under one home. You changed my life that day, and I thank the Lord for placing a love like this in our beating hearts. Rabbi, I have waited so long. Now I see all of this was your plan. I wish I'd known this all along. Oh, I never could imagine that I'd find a loving soul like hers. Oh, how you work in all your ways. Oh Lord, you blessed us both when we felt alone. You brought our hearts together and you made us one. Oh Lord, you gave us.
On today's show, I'm joined by guests over the phone. On today's show, I'm joined by guests over the phone. And we're talking about community compassion through work of the food banks. And it's food banks. We spoke not just locally with Salma, the project manager at Luton Foodbank, but also we'll be joined by another fantastic guest who's going to be sharing with us work that he's doing in the West Midlands. And believe it or not, that food bank is called Salma Foodbank. And he is a community activist by the name of Imran Hameed. And he's going to be sharing with us how his food bank is actually bringing communities together from all walks of life across the West Midlands. Earlier on, I had the pleasure of speaking to Salma, talking to us about a very poignant event, which is in memory of a wonderful dear sister that many of us will remember very dearly and fondly. She is a sister by the name of Amara, who sadly passed away 2 years ago on her way back from Hajj. So Salma spoke to me about inviting you guys to take part in in a fun run, and it's a family fun run which is happening on Friday 20th of September, and anybody can take part. And so you need to donate money to this fun run, which will help to create a well, inshallah. Now it's being organised and is being held in Warden Park, which will happen on Saturday 28th of September at 10 a.m. I do apologise. So registration needs to be done by Friday 28th September to get yourself these t-shirts that you can be wearing at the event. Now, in order to find out more information, please go on to the Luton Foodbank link to get more information about this fantastic fun run, and the registration is £10 per person or family to get involved, guys. Now, on today's show, we're talking International Happiness at Work Day, and finding out from you guys, how happy are you at work? How happy are you at work, guys? Where are you working right now? Are you happy there? What would you do to make your environment a little bit happier? Now, I've read articles where it's suggesting that people are actually bringing their pets to work day to make it like a happy occasion to look forward to. Interesting. Some people have create a more of an organic environment, an environmental environment, by putting plants in the space that they're working to make them feel a little bit happier, seeing the greenery. There are spaces and places in working environments where they have like games rooms so people can chill and have a bit of me time. What does your working environment do to make it happier for you? Would like to find out, and in order to do so, it's 07779 481822. Salma Khan from the Foodbank, she did say that she loves the work that she does and it keeps her engaged with the community, and she does do tremendous work, mashallah, connecting and making a difference in people's lives. Are you in that type of job that enables you to make a difference in people's lives? How important is that for self-fulfillment? I know that the work that I do is about making a difference in people's lives, so that kind of gives me makes me feel happy and content knowing that I'm creating change for others in the little tasks that I do. So if you'd like to get involved with the conversation, 07779 481822 to tell me a little bit about why, what makes your environment a happy place to work in. What little changes and tweaks have your line manager or you've done to make it a little bit more of a serene place of work, because work can be quite testing. We spend a lot more time in our working world than we do actually with our families. I've read that we spend more hours at work, less at home. And it plays such a significant part of our lives, and it does impact our mental well-being. So it'd be very interesting to see how organisations and how yourself are making a more mindful space to work in. What would you do? Folks, the Urban Cube is the show that you're listening into. It's Monday, 23rd of September. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend and you're having a great start to the week. It is Monday Motivation on this show today. The show is about creative pioneers, trailblazers who are making a difference across their communities. This show is a real celebration of community compassion, and it doesn't stop with just me talking about it. We hope that it actually take the information that you take on from the guests is actually put into action. If there's any time that you hear a guest on the show's repeat and you want to find out who they are and what they're getting up to, then please do feel free to get in touch with us at Inspire FM. We're always happy to share their details if you've missed it. Now, the show is repeated at 8 p.m. this evening. We're not on Facebook Live. We will be going on Facebook Live very, very shortly when I'll be joined by one of my guests, who's a local guest, who is going to be talking to us about how to stay motivated after the age of 50. And she's going to be sharing her tips and what she's doing to kind of, energize herself, because there always seems to be kind of a bit of a worry for certain people whenever they embrace a new year of their life, that they always seem to add this comment, oh gosh, I feel a little bit old. Oh no. What should I do this? Should I do that? I don't think there should be an age on any opportunity or any vision that you have in the future. Don't ever put an age limit on it. Now, age is an interesting period, and so are life experiences, especially for a lot of 18 to 19-year-olds who are making their way to university, who have already settled in or starting their first day on their courses. We have been running the student fortnight, where we've been speaking and sharing information to our listeners regarding life at university and the sort of tips that we are suggesting that you should take on board. And there are lots of parents, I believe, who are feeling slightly anxious about their eldest or their youngest or their middle child starting their first day at university away from home. A lot of young people do go away from home to study, and it can be quite a worrying time for parents. My eldest has started college. I mean, even though it's local, I was quite anxious about that. Goodness me, will he make friends? Will he settle in? Will he meet the deadlines? And Salma was talking about her son starting college as well, and she is a little bit anxious about that. So I'm sure in 2 years' time, the tips that I'm giving you guys, I will be having to reflect them myself and share with them. I share with my children. So the sort of things that we're looking at is this advice is for parents, put yourself in your child's shoes. Try and remember what it was like for you before starting secondary school, the nerves, the fear, and the sense of going from being a big fish in a small pond to a little fish in a big pond. Being open and emphatic will allow your children to feel that they can tell you anything, meaning you can help support them to the best of your ability. Look out for changes in emotions and behaviour. Are you noticing changes in your child's sleeping pattern, or are they being a bit more quiet than usual? Subtle changes in emotions and behaviour could be a sign of stress and anxiety. It's worth having a little chat with them and seeing if there is anything going on that they want to talk about. Okay. And the whole purpose of me sharing this information is because they are going away to university. They might be 18, 19, but they are still young and impressionable, and it's always good to keep that level of communication open with your child. Your child may feel that they are mature enough, independent enough not to rely on you, but believe me, when they get there, from the parents I've heard from, the children are always on the phone the first week entirely. It does slow down a little bit, the calls stop coming through, but then the parents are the ones that are continuously calling. But keep those channels of communication open. It's always good to check up on your child when they're away. I'm going to be speaking to a parent who I think is now taken her child off to university. And it would be wonderful to hear what her experience was like. And also finding out what sort of food you need to pack to send with your child. Now, I remember coming back from university, my mum would actually make me chapati. She'd make me rotis and put it in foil, and she'd cook me. She'd give me a recipe card with all the dals as well. And I'd also be given all the ingredients to make these lovely little dishes. So she kind of semi-prepped me, but I was learning how to cook from the age of 11. So all she was doing was giving me the ingredients just in case I ran out, because she didn't want me living on fast food. And that's the greatest fear for any parent, their child living only on fast food and not cooking. Now, somebody who's a dab hand at cooking, has her own cooking series, and is living that moment herself by sending her child off to university is no other than Shahnaz Ayub. Assalamu alaikum, Shahnaz.
Wa alaikum assalam, wa alaikum assalam. How are you, Shahnaz?
I'm very, very well, even more so listening to your wonderful voice. Now, I understand you've just stepped out of a class, because life never stops anyone from learning, and you're the prime example of that. Learning at 50.
Learning at 50. I have actually stepped out of this. No, I haven't. I finished my spinning class. I'm slightly out of breath, a little low on the oxygen. So I'll make the best of this as I can.
Bless you.
Yes, I mean, speaking of children going to university, mine, mashallah, has just gone into her second year.
Wow.
it's full of trepidation for parents. It's really difficult because you want to make sure that all the life lessons that you've given them over the years are going to be implemented. But at the same time, it's a battle for us as Asians as well, you know, making sure that they're going into a Western lifestyle of living on their own in a predominantly Western environment where the influences of home aren't going to be there. And you've just got to make sure that, you know, you've done the best for them at home, and then you've just got to let them go free and make the best of their life that they can with all the life lessons that you've given them. And mashallah, I'm really proud of my oldest daughter. She's done really well. She's got really good balance.
Alhamdulillah.
And that gives her a good peace of mind. And it's really important for them to take their bits from home that remind them of home.
So what did you send with your daughter, who's actually, mashallah, studying her second year at university in dentistry, may I add?
Yes, mashallah, mashallah. You know what? Of her own volition, she took a Quran, which was really good. And she found that it gave her a little bit of peace of mind in a lot of peace of mind, actually, in a very, very stressful environment where there is a lot of work and play, but the balance is more work than play. And she would get constantly stressed out. And it was very, very difficult from, you know, all the way almost 200 miles away to give her that, you know, you'd give her that virtual hug and you'd make her feel at ease. But having things around her, like the Quran that she always kept in her room, even things like her quilt, you know, her favourite toy, her things like that, you know, that, and just hearing our voice. And the world is such a small place now. I mean, we FaceTime all the time, so that makes a huge difference. We never had all this when we were at university.
There's a postcard or a message by a dove. You'd be lucky.
It was 5 minutes on the phone every 3 days. It was really, really difficult because my first year was in halls of residence. And when we moved into the house, it was very different. Of course, there was a lot more freedom, but seeing your mum and dad's faces was something that, you know, you didn't get a lot of and you missed. But I think it's much easier for them in that sense.
And because you've had that experience yourself as well. You've had that experience yourself, Shahnaz, so you're able to give good advice because it is come from a place where you've had that opportunity to go away to university. But there will be lots of parents who've not had that opportunity, so it does make it a little bit quite difficult for them to understand the routine. But mashallah, you've given some really good tips and advice there, but it doesn't stop there. I mean, we're also talking to you about life at 50 because you're going to be sharing with us your experience as somebody who is embracing that age and embracing it well.
Well, you know what? When they say it's only a number, I have to say I don't feel any different. I'm 51 now, actually, mashallah, than I did when I was 40. It's, I mean, the life expectancy of women is actually a lot more than it used to be a few years ago, a long time ago. So now it's not unusual for women to exceed 80 years. There is that thing, though, that turning 50, we all feel closer to death than we do to birth on the downside. But it's very sobering. It's very liberating. It's sobering because it reminds us that there's a finite span in which to accomplish what we want. And we have that bucket list in our heads of what our wants and desires are. And it's liberating because, you know, we mentally and emotionally feel the truth of what life is all about, and we don't hang on to concerns that are non-essential anymore. I just think about the important things of life, and that's always in the forefront of my life. I just, you know, care a hang about things that I can't do anything about. I leave that to God, you know, whereas I used to be a very anxious person. I used to worry about things constantly. But I think when you turn a certain age, you just think, well, to hell with it. You know, at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do, and everything else is left to God. But it is a milestone, and there are always these jokes about being over the hill. But I will say, in places like, you know, in the Netherlands, for example, they see it as being a real turning point, and they have this thing called Seen Sarah. I don't know what that means, but basically the ethos behind it is that when you become that age, you're respected more because you're old enough to be wise. And actually, Sarah Sarah's the biblical wife of Abraham, and she was known for being a very wise woman. So in the Netherlands, they really honour the birthday with a celebration because they acknowledge that this person now is full of wisdom and experience. I don't know about wisdom, but I definitely have experience. But
and
it's a real transition.
And your experience doesn't just, you know, it's not just about cooking is also in the courts of law as well as a senior solicitor. Have I given you the correct title there?
Sorry?
Your work in the courts of law is, and does that change the older you get, or how do you develop your career when you get to a certain age? Because you're balancing two careers.
Yeah. Well, you definitely become more confident in both of them. You become more confident as a person. And what I do notice with, unfortunately, in the work environment, but unfortunately with a lot of friends as well that have hit this stage in their lives when they're going through divorces. Mm-hmm. And it does become a little bit predominant when women hit a certain age. And that is because, it's so important to find your identity. Find what you're passionate about and go for it, because a lot of women don't end up doing that. They all get embroiled in bringing up children, and then they've got to, obviously put up with the changes that happen, the menopause that happens at 50, and then gravity takes its toll with the sagging neck, the stomach, the breasts, the faces, the underarm swing. We've got all that to contend with, and I think that women find it difficult to find themselves if they haven't pursued a passion. And then the kids go and they leave the nest and they're less reliant on us. And a lot of women find that they have nothing to do. And if they're in a relationship where it has all been about the kids and that attention hasn't been on the husband, then that the spouses tend to lose their way and they develop very different interests, and they find that they're quite intolerant of each other because, of course, they're in a situation where they have to spend more time with one another. And that's when the problems start. And that's a really sad aspect of hitting that age where things go a little bit downhill, when in fact they should be going uphill, and you should be really embracing that time. Even if you don't have a partner, embrace that time that you have even on your own and spend more time with your friends. This is what a lot of people end up doing.
So what advice would you give to anybody listening in who is about to hit 50 and feels a little bit down?
Don't go through the infamous midlife crisis. It's a cup half full, not a cup half empty. That's not the way to look at life. And you've got to be driven by opportunity to change or improve aspects of your life that you've been unhappy with over the years. So for me, I always battle with my weight. I know that now, I'm in my 50s, I have to really start looking after my health and nutrition, because, I'm on the wrong side of, I'm close, as I said, closer to death than I am to birth, but I don't look at it like that cynically. I look at it more as a chance to maintain a physical appearance and attractiveness. And, we're never going to be able to reverse the clock, but it's about self-acceptance, and it's the self-acceptance combined with one significant benefit of the menopause freedom is really important. Don't think that just because you're hitting an age that all these things are going to start happening to you. Embrace them, love yourself, love your body, and have respect for yourself. So when I talk about nutrition, it's really important to look at your diet, all the things that you used to like and indulge in, cut back on slightly, because these things, your body develops an intolerance to certain foods as you get older as well. And if you tend to have a high-fat diet, for example, or not a high-fat diet, but even if you used to indulge in things like, for example, eating the skin off a chicken, that's a roasted chicken that obviously we know that isn't good for us, but it's the yummiest part of a chicken. That is going to stay on you for a lot longer now that you've hit 50 than it did when you were 30. These things are harder to burn as you get older, and your fat cells really, they're developing over the years. But if you feed them, then they're there to stay forever. That's why women find it really hard to lose weight from certain areas, and I'm a real testimony of that.
You mentioned the menopause. Now, a lot of women do hit the menopause around 45 plus, and even earlier than that. Is there enough information, you think, in the Asian or Muslim community around menopause?
All the information that you need is available online. You should go and see your doctor. There are things that people suffer with. There are things that people don't at all. I mean, my mum always said to me that she never went through it. I could have sworn she did, but that people just have different reactions to the menopause. For me, I do feel the heat. a lot, particularly, at night time. I need to have a fan on me, and my husband is literally rolled up in a duvet looking like a sushi next to me. And it's really difficult, sometimes to maintain that body temperature, the little things that I think I have to endure. But people suffer in different ways, and I absolutely sympathise for women that really do suffer with it. It changes their temperament. I think it's not only the women that have to be aware of what's going on with themselves, but also their family that need to be tolerant of what's going on with them as well. So it's up to the women to educate themselves. And as I said, there's a lot of information that's available on the search engines, but also go and see your doctor and go and talk to them if you feel that you're suffering with any changes that you think are very involuntary and they're not necessarily exacerbated by stresses that are going on in normal life. Go and see somebody about it, and then educate your family about what's going on, because that's going to be very important. They need to be tolerant of what you're going through. And as I said, it affects different women in different ways. I mean, fortunately, alhamdulillah, I don't feel that it's particularly affected me at this stage. And I don't think it's a state of mind. A lot of people blame it on that. It is, a lot of these things are quite involuntary, and people need to be a lot more tolerant to women that are going through it. And in fact, I know that I read somewhere that the Labour government are really promoting women suffering with menopause in the workplace, possibly, being more gracious about their working hours and being more sympathetic to women in those environments.
Well, that sounds
in those conditions.
Absolutely fantastic, especially as it's a national, or is it International Day of Happiness at Work Day. So that is great news to hear that acts are being put into place to recognise women's issues, which are so important. Now, my dear, I'm heading off to a break, but I just want to say thank you so very much for joining us. I want to quickly ask you, Shahnaz, For the Love of Food, is the series still on?
It is. In fact, we're going to be filming a few more. This is the second series that we have on at the moment that's airing. I think it comes on every Sunday, and it comes on during the week as well.
Fantastic.
On Sky 737.
Wonderful.
I think it's Virgin 838. It's really exciting. We're going to be doing a few more episodes, and this is the even more reason why I need to exercise more incessantly, because I just go and eat, and of course I rate the restaurant.
Well, I'm gonna let you go, because we are heading now straight to a break. But after the break, inshallah, we'll be joined by Imran Hameed from the Salma Foodbank. Thank you, Shahnaz, for joining us this morning.
Always a pleasure, Shaniza.
Take care.
Always a pleasure.
You're listening to an Inspire FM podcast, making available our popular programmes from our daily broadcast on Inspire FM.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamiza.
Good morning and assalamu alaikum. It is 11 o'clock, Monday, 23rd of September. You're listening to Shamiza. I hope you are well, wherever you're listening in from this morning. I've been off air for about 2 weeks. Glad to be back and glad to be in your company. And super awesome to be kind of sat on this chair. It's been a crazy 2 weeks, so it's good to be relaxing and being back at work. And you know what? It's the happiest place to be for me, I think, when I'm speaking and sharing and conversing with fabulous guests, not just locally but nationally as well on Inspire FM. Now it's great. I'm on a happy vibe. I'm a happy vibe at work because it's National Happiness Work Day, and I'm asking you guys, what is it that makes you happy at work? How do you maintain a happiness at work? Can work and happiness go hand in hand? Are you in a job that you thoroughly enjoy, or are you interested in potentially, or you're looking into changing your job? Tell us on 07779 481 822. Now, the Facebook live page is open, so you can actually leave your comments on there, and we'll be happy to read them out. Now, earlier on in the show, I had the pleasure of speaking to Salma Khan from Luton Foodbank, talking to us about an event that they've organised, and it's in memory of beloved sister Amara, who sadly passed away 2 years ago on her way back from Hajj. And the Luton Foodbank and Amara's family have invited you to take part and spread the word among your family and friends. She was loved by many in the community, and what they're hoping to do in a way of paying tribute to her kindness is holding a fun run, a family fun run, which is going to be at Warden Park, and it's a sponsored family fun run, and it's Saturday 28th of September at 10 a.m. You can register, and its registration is £10, and this is basically the registration will enable you to have a T-shirt and a medal. But it needs to be done by Friday 20th of September. Now, the Luton Foodbank have come on board to support this initiative, this lovely fundraising opportunity. But the whole purpose of the fundraising is to actually create the building of a well, a Sadqa Jariyah, in memory of Sister Amara. Now, if you want to get involved, then you need to go onto the Luton Foodbank org.uk/run site. So if you go onto that link, and you can also contact us at Inspire FM, inshallah, if you want further details. So, and if you follow Sister Salma on Facebook, then you can get further information there. So we've had the pleasure of speaking to Salma. After that, we spoke to no other than the very, very vibrant Shahnaz Ayub, who was talking to us about her experience of sending her daughter to university, who, mashallah, is in her second year. Now, I'm sure a lot of parents can relate to a lot of the information that she was presenting to us this morning about giving your children that opportunity to kind of be independent, but also giving them the values that they need to take with them about, balancing a good life, really, because obviously they're going to be experiencing things that you cannot manage and you cannot monitor. So it's actually speaking to your children prior to what you expect of them as your child, and in accordance to the faith and your culture. So it was very interesting listening to Shahnaz. She also talked about her experience as somebody who has hit 51, a wonderful milestone in her life, which many can relate. And she was talking about how, as women, trying to kind of nurture and embrace the age and trying to maintain a healthy well-being and lifestyle to kind of just, amongst your family and independently as well. And we talked about careers with her too. Now, from Luton all the way to the West Midlands, I'm joined by a very fabulous guest who's really making his mark in his community, in and around, but also reaching further afield or internationally with the news stories of the amazing work being led to the Salma Foodbank. Now, this is a community food bank which has been founded by no other than the gentleman I'm going to be speaking to now, no other than Imran Hameed. Now, what was interesting is we spoke to Salma from the Luton Foodbank earlier on, who is a project manager of the Luton Foodbank, who said she's going to be listening in to the great tips and advice that Brother Imran is going to be sharing with us. Now, he is somebody who's very passionate about his local community. The work that he's done is not just in the food bank, it is also in the community via a project called the Bearded Broz. Yes, you've heard it, guys, the Bearded Broz, which is a project that is really embracing everybody in and around the West Midlands, and also sharing the content that he does in the community on social media too. So it's an absolute pleasure to have Imran Hameed join us this morning. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Imran.
Walaikum salam rahmatullah. How are you, sister? You okay?
I'm very well. And thank you for joining us in your very busy schedule. It sounds quite echoey. Am I assuming you're actually in the warehouse of Salma Foodbank?
No, I'm actually in my office at this time. I was in the warehouse when they connected my call, but now I have retired into in my office. Is it any better now?
It's fabulous. Now, it's National Happiness at Work Day, Brother Imran. Can I ask you, how happy are you in the work that you do?
I am extremely happy. Alhamdulillah, I'm extremely, extremely happy. And every day that goes by, it makes me wonder and ponder, as the Quran says to ponder, that Allah chooses who He wants. I do not do anything special. I'm not Superman. And if any one of us had the opportunity, I would say take it with both hands and, do what you've got to do with this. And alhamdulillah, I'm happy every single day that I come to work where I can juggle my business and what I do, which is the food bank and other projects.
Mm-hmm. And you do them very well. I don't know how you're juggling this all, but you're doing it very, very well. And the story...
I've got one secret.
What's that?
My one and only secret, right? And if I look at it deeply and think how I managed to do this, honestly, one word, my wife.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah, I have a very, very considerate lady that I married. May Allah bless her, because without her cooperation, I couldn't do this.
And great partnerships, that's what this is all about, and that support
Absolutely.
and stability that you have, and may Allah always bless that. Now, brother, I want to take you a step back and talk to us about Salma Foodbank, what the Salma Foodbank is, and how that came about.
It was a year 16. I keep on muddling up the years. Year 2016, and it was a case of, it was Ramadan. It was the 27th of Ramadan, and I was sitting with my father. I come from a privileged, affluent background, and I don't know what the word poverty meant. The only thing I knew was when we used to visit Pakistan, I have an office in India. I used to go to India. We used to see the beggars on the streets, and that to me was poverty, and as far as it goes. And I was watching my wife with my young children. She'd been fasting all day, and she's running around with them, and I'm saying, I'm not going to sit down. Let's open our fast first. I can look after the kids later. And it dawned on me that I lost my mum 22 years back. And my mum must have been like this. What she's like with the kids, right? And I asked my dad being the sort of breadwinner in the family, you don't really ask my dad many personal, uneasy questions. And I asked my father, I said, what was mum like? First time in my life. I asked him, what was mum like? And he said to me, what do you ask the next door neighbour? And I thought, ask the next door neighbour. And our next door neighbour is a African black lady, a very, very church-going person. Okay, and I thought, okay, so after iftar, I decided to go around there, ask her the question. First time I actually went into a house. I always say hello to her. The first time I went into a house, and she started crying. And she gave me stories of my mother, an immigrant lady who had come to the United Kingdom looking for a better future. And alhamdulillah, God had blessed them with wealth, and how she looked after her neighbour. Even though mom couldn't speak very much English, she would spend hours helping her, listening to her. She could understand, but she wouldn't reply back to you in many words. Her vocabulary was very, very limited. So alhamdulillah, I walked out of there in tears. Thinking, wow, mom achieved something really massive. And it's from that time onwards, I started looking into poverty in the UK, looking at food banks. I didn't even know what a food bank was. Honestly, I didn't know anything about it. I grew up in a Pakistani household, and the normal, typical attitude is everybody gets fed by the government. Everybody has this, and everybody claims this, and what have you not. So I thought, let's find people who not necessarily are on the street like homeless people, but there must be people in their houses who are struggling. And we don't know anything about it. My next door neighbour could be struggling. I don't know anything about it. So how do we find these people? So being an IT consultant by trade, I took to Facebook and I put a message out there. The message read, if there's anybody who needs food, right, please contact me and my telephone number. And you wouldn't believe it, right? The phone wouldn't stop. The phone would not stop, and I was thinking there can't be that many people lying to me, quite surely.
So you were shocked by the number of calls that you were receiving?
Shocked. Absolutely, I was gobsmacked at the amount of calls that we were receiving. It was unbelievable. From the word go, when I put this up there, we was hearing horror stories. Moms, dads, young people just could not make ends meet. So what we did for the first year, right? We just myself, the kids, mom, right? We was in Asda, and we just carried on every day. I would finish at 4:00, pick up the kids. Mom had picked up the kids, and we would just drive to Asda, fill up our boot, fill up a few bags, and then drive around like mad people to these people's houses. And we were having hugs, kisses, all sorts going on, and people crying, and we were thinking, bloody hell, we live in England. This is not seriously happening. And, you know, it was an eye-opener for us.
So what happened from there on? Because this is just you and your family going around in a car with your boot full of food. So how were you able to, from feeding just a couple of families to hundreds of families in a day?
So what actually happened, right, I remember having many conversations with my father, my family, right, my extended family, saying this is going on. And nobody would believe me. They thought I was an idiot. They thought, no, this, you know, people are taking you for a mug. That's what they're doing. They're taking you for a mug. And, you know, this is not possible. Anyway, it was one woman, I remember in Wolverhampton, old woman, and I said to her, would you be kind enough to give me your story on video? And she said, yeah. So I thought, all right, time for Facebook Live then, isn't it, as you do? So I went Facebook Live, and that's when it went a bit mental, where people started thinking, who's this mad person driving around, you know, feeding people? And then it just didn't stop. It's a roller coaster ride upwards. We've now got 250 plus volunteer drivers.
Fantastic.
We've served over 50,000 households.
Wow.
So the problem is real. It's not made up.
So what makes your food bank any different to the food banks that we see across the country?
We're not a charity.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Because I took a few days out and I volunteered at a food bank. There was too much red tape. So you and I, if we work 9 to 5, and let's just say we lost our job and we were hand to mouth, you and I could not get a food voucher because we don't claim any benefits, which is ridiculous. So that was a hurdle when you become a charity. I didn't want to take anybody's money, okay, because I thought, you know, it's about 10 people coming together saying, here's a bag of food, and giving it to somebody else who needs it. So money was not the issue here. So we're not a charity. We refuse to take anybody's money. We're just a massive project. Okay, and we are the only emergency food bank in the country. So we're not your traditional food bank. A traditional food bank you would go to with a voucher. We are the interim period before you can get to that food bank.
So how are you able to maintain and sustain the the project to continue at this level if you're not a charity?
People power.
Okay.
People power. I was at number 10 Downing Street, and the housing minister asked me the same question. He said, he said, we've been watching what you do, but how the hell do you maintain this? How do you sustain this? And I tell you, it's people power. I could go into my food bank. I'm not an overly religious person. I can go into my food bank and honestly look at the milk and think, oh, we're running out of milk. And 5 minutes later, you'll have a trolley full. Somebody's bought you some.
Wow.
Mashallah. So up and down the country, people are donating to us. Not money. We don't want anybody's money. You can go online to Asda, for example, buy groceries for us and have them delivered to us. Doesn't matter where you are in the country.
Now, this people power and this compassion in the community isn't just with the South Asian parts of Birmingham, is it? Is it the wider community you're bringing people together?
Absolutely. I would say 60% of our volunteers now are not from the subcontinent. They are not Muslim, okay? They don't have beards, even though the name may suggest bearded bros. So it's been across the board. Yes, we started off, it was like the few volunteers that we did have in the beginning, there were only Muslim volunteers and there were men, etc., but that's not the case any longer. I would say 60% were definitely not from the Muslim background.
Why is it not the case? What is it that's opened the doors so wide? What is it that you've seen that is the best way to bring people together?
Transparency. That's the one word for it. We don't take any money. There's no fitna involved in this project. Once you start taking anybody's money, that's when the water gets a bit murky. But we won't take anybody's money. We're very, very transparent. That can of beans is going to go to somebody in need. There's nobody going to be taking any cuts out of this. And unfortunately, charities have become a massive money spinner. And this is what people can see. It's a grassroots project that's just gone extremely big. So that's what people trust in.
What have you seen that's made a difference in the actual community across Birmingham? Because, I've seen some... Birmingham, like any other city or town, has had its own bad press in regards to community cohesion. Has this project enabled people to come together?
Oh, 100%, 100% is definitely building bridges, not just with volunteers themselves, but honestly, when we go out to, the people, the beneficiaries that we serve, 97%, that's a huge number, 97% are not Muslim. Okay, so majority of these people, honestly, you know what they say to me, or what they say to a volunteer who are going out, like let's just say a woman's gone out with a hijab on, etc., etc. Say, why can't all Muslims be like you? And we thinking, well, bloody hell, we are. Majority are like that. It's the minority on which are idiots, but you know the majority are. So it's gone massive. I mean, just if you look at our social media, the amount of love that we get from non-Muslims is massive compared to Muslims.
Social media has been quite a big part of this project. Do you think if you didn't have social media, you wouldn't have grown as big as you have done?
Yes, absolutely. We would have grown, alhamdulillah, but not as fast as we have. So social media has definitely played a massive part in it.
Now, as an IT professional, did that play a good part in your role with the social media side?
Yeah, absolutely, because I sell social media to customers. That's what I did for a living.
Right.
So, you know, it goes hand in hand. I know how it works like the back of my hand. So, yes, it does play a big part. Yes, it does.
So what are you projecting on the social media? Because it doesn't seem to be just the food bank related. There seems to be lots of other projects in the community that you've been actively participating and showcasing.
Oh, yes, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I do a project which is very successful. And we had somebody from, believe it or not, Luton come down to us.
Fantastic.
From your hometown.
Okay.
Yeah, big up to Luton, everybody that's listening. Tommy Robinson's uncle. Yeah, I do a program called Meet a Muslim.
Okay.
And I offered him a hand. I said, I'll host you. And what a lovely guy. What a lovely, lovely guy. And we sat together. We spent the whole day together. He delivered food bags with me to people in need. You know, the only difference was, honestly, this was the difference. I wanted to pray 5 times a day. The guy didn't.
Okay.
And you know, what's the big deal? He wants to have a drink with his meal. I don't. So what? Does that mean that I need to hate the guy? Or does that mean he needs to hate me? No. And we left on really good terms. In matter of fact, you know, we're in talks where we want to run a food bank from the heart of Luton under the banner of Salma Food Bank, under the influence of an Islamic ethos, but run by the EDL. Why can't you and I put our differences aside and do something for humanity, right? Forget what you and I disagree upon.
But do you think they'll get on board with that? I mean, if it was that simple,
I do.
Do you? Are you in talks?
I can't go into much detail.
Okay.
But yes, we are.
Right, intriguing.
Yes,
I'm absolutely intrigued by this, and I'm sure our listeners are as well. And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you can hate me. You can hate me all you like, because listen, you know, somebody's going to hate you. They're going to hate you regardless. You can go red in the face by explaining we're not bad people, X, Y, and Z, whatever. You know what? Enough of the explaining. How about, right, you put your finger out and we both do a food bank. You can run it, okay, because majority of the people that are in Luton, regardless of whoever they are, still need some help, okay? So why can't we do that? And this is the type of projects and the discussions we need to be having to say, let's put our disagreements to the side, because we're only going to disagree. We disagree amongst ourselves. Who's got the bigger beard? Who looks more religious? Oh, please get over it. You know, we need to put that aside, and we can come under one banner, one cause, which is to help someone.
Inshallah, intriguing project. I'm definitely going to be following how what comes from this, and hopefully some positive community cohesion and engagement. And the irony here is that we already have a wonderful Salma leading the Luton Food Bank, who are doing absolutely amazing work as well, mashallah. So that's really quite...
Mashallah, may Allah bless her. I do know about that food bank.
Yeah,
they do a good job.
They're doing a fantastic job, as are you. And your work that you do doesn't just... it's not just about delivering food to the most needy in parts of West Midlands, but it's also kind of, you get out on the street and you help clean refuse as well. Because there's been videos that have gone viral with the bearded bros out there with their green, you know, their visors on, and they're going out, getting rid of rubbish because of the bin strikes. Tell us more.
Yeah, absolutely. One media title read, "Not all superheroes wear capes. Some rock high vis vests," which was lovely. I thought that was brilliant because that was like 2 years ago now, and it was the bin strikes. It was summer holidays, and Birmingham was bad. It was like you had like piles of rubbish side of the van.
Gosh,
right,
wow.
on each sort of street corner.
Wow.
And alhamdulillah, yeah, absolutely, it was disgusting because the bin men were on strike.
Right.
And we just thought, you know what, let's take the bull by the horns. And it was 150 tons of rubbish that we moved. We didn't take away the black bins. We were taking away the excess.
Right.
We were labelled as God knows what not, like strike breakers, etc., which was ridiculous because we weren't getting paid for this. We were just trying to do something for the community.
And you really help clean those streets. And it's just not the streets. You're also out there in the gardens of your local community and the elderly too. So, and there doesn't seem to be anything stopping you from any tasks. What are the other projects that you get the Bearded Bros involved in?
Well, we proactively get a lot of call for streetwalkers. Unfortunately, the girls who have got themselves into bad habits, i.e. heroin, crack cocaine, etc., we try to raise awareness about these guys. Look, instead of going past these people and spitting at them, swearing at them, they're there for a reason. They're standing outside your house because more than likely it's your father or your son or your husband that's actually entertaining these women, supply and demand. So instead of us, having to go at these women, how about we educate our own families first? We do massive online grooming projects, which we as IT people, again, we look for online groomers, and that information is then fed back to the police. We don't put them on camera. We don't do a sort of decoy mission, so we don't do it like that. We do other things like cleaning up parks, cleaning up gardens for the vulnerable people. Again, it's just people power. It's just about networking.
And knife crime is another area that you've been trying to tackle. Yes.
Knife crime is what we say on our post, which is an epidemic. It's killing our youngsters. Knives do not discriminate against colour. Okay, so it's happening up and down the country. So white, black, Asian, whatever. Everybody. There's too many youngsters who think it's a good idea to carry a knife. I get where they're coming from. Some people are just scared. Most of the people that actually stab someone say, you know what, I only had it on me. I didn't ever think I would use it.
Gosh, that's the worst.
So that's got to be the worst thing because this guy's probably fearful for his own life. If he gets jumped by 3 people, he wants to have something on him in order to defend himself.
So how are you dealing with this? Because this is such a worrying epidemic, and it's not going away.
Absolutely. 12th of October is where we're having a national march up and down the country, one time, and it's a minute silence as well at 2 o'clock.
Right.
Okay, so it's every city. We are taking the bull by the horns in Birmingham, where Birmingham says no to knife crime. We're making a clear stance to youngsters to say we're sick and tired of it. We're not putting up with it. We're putting pressure on the government to introduce tougher laws around carrying a knife.
Brother, we're heading to a break, and I've got 32 seconds. I want you to tell everybody how people can access the Bearded Bros and the Salma Foodbank.
Absolutely. Go online to Bearded Bros, that's with the Z.com, and Salma-foodbank.org. Join the conversation. Have a look, check us up on Facebook. And Shahnaz, thank you ever so much for your time as well. And I know you do some good work.
It's an absolute pleasure, brother Imran Hameed. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. That was brother Imran Hameed. And we're heading off to a break, inshallah. And we're joined not by a bearded bro, but a bearded hiker.
The number 1 radio station for Luton. This is Inspire FM.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shahnaz.
Good morning and assalamu alaikum. It is 11:30, the final half an hour of the Urban Cube, and you're listening to me, Shahnaz, taking it all the way up to 12 o'clock this morning. Now we're beaming out the lovely people of Luton surrounding areas and Peterborough and Sheffield this morning. So thank you so very much for listening in wherever you are. Be that Facebook Live, or it could be the app, or just on the airwaves. Always would love to find out where you're tuning in from. So it makes me feel as if I'm not on my own. Guys, it is International Work Happiness Day, and I've been speaking to my guests this morning, who were Salma from the Luton Foodbank. It was also Shahnaz Ayub, who is a senior solicitor, plus she's also a celebrity chef. And I spoke to no other than Imran Hameed of the Bearded Broz and the, believe it or not, Salma Foodbank based in West Midlands. They shared with us their experiences of their work and also gave some great advice and tips around this. Now, if you'd like to catch up with any of those conversations, then you know what to do. You need to listen back on Facebook Live, or because it will stop and you can scroll back and hear the conversation, or catch the repeat of the show, which will be 8 p.m. this evening. Now, the question I've been asking everybody this morning is what advice could you give to any young person going off to university? Now, lots of young people have headed off to university. They're getting themselves started and preparing themselves for their first classes maybe this week, or they're making themselves get settled in university. Now, Shahnaz spoke to us very with experience, because her daughter's gone off to Leeds, and she spoke to study her second year in dentistry, and she spoke about giving her home comforts to keep to give that feeling that she isn't too far away from home, even though she's in Leeds. But love to find out what sort of things that you've given to your children if they've gone off to university. Now, climbing mountains is something that we've been talking about on the show for a couple of weeks, and I had the pleasure of speaking to Bilal Hussein about 3 weeks ago about this amazing trek that he did, but he didn't do it on his own. These were 3 mountains across England, Wales and Scotland, 3 of the highest peaks, and to be done in 24 hours. And this challenge, the whole purpose of this challenge was to fundraise for a charity called Friends of Bright Eyes. Now, I've been really eager to find out what that experience was like. Now, I had 2 weeks off, so I never got to speak to anybody about that. So now I am, and I spoke about before they left, but it's now the actual challenge was completed. And on the phone right now, I don't have a bearded bro, but I have a bearded hiker, a beardy hiker, let me get that correct, who's actually a hiker by part-time, it seems, but he's also a financial crime analyst, and he's on the line right now. I have the absolute pleasure of speaking to Etisham Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Etisham.
Welcome, Salam. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so very much for giving me time out from your working morning this morning and joining us on the Urban Cube. Now, brother Etisham, congratulations. I understand you completed the hike.
Yeah, thank you very much. I did. I completed it in, I believe, 23 hours and 28 minutes.
Wow, just under the 24-hour mark. Was there... this 24-hour thing, did everybody finish at the same time, or was there somebody that finished a little earlier and a little later?
Well, out of the 20, I think there was 9 of us that completed it within the 24-hour time limit, but it was that last mountain, everyone was sort of at their own pace.
Wow.
Just struggling to get across, man. Some brothers done it in, I think, just under 23 hours, which was, I think, the fastest time. And then there's a few of us that just made it in before the 24 hours were up.
Brother, tell me, what made you want to do this hike? I mean, it wasn't just a small mountain. We're talking about 3 of the highest peaks.
Yeah, so for me, it was everyone had sort of, they spoke with Bilal went up to everyone individually, told them how he wanted to raise funds for this charity in honor of his brother. who passed away 20 years ago. I think it's this month. And with me, I took it on at 6 days' notice.
Wow.
The reason behind it was I was with my friend one day, and we were just talking in general about, we're going on holidays and etc. And I was like, as a friend group, we should try to maybe do one thing next year. We go, to a third world country and help out, do a bit of charity work, and open our eyes to the luxury that we actually live in. And so when this opportunity come along, the Bill told me that we're going on the hike this weekend. It's a last minute thing, but do you want to come along and do you think you could do the challenge? So I thought this is this opportunity that I might not get another chance to do. So I just took it with both hands. I thought, it's going to be a great experience. I've never really been on a mountain before in my life, so
never before. This is the first time.
Never before, and then on top of that, to do charity work, there's so much benefit in that, and it really does open your eyes. Because when I research myself about the charity and the work that they're doing and what they're trying to do with Luton, the people on our roads, our friends, our neighbours, they all have someone or somebody that is suffering from a disability. So to give them that respite care, to have a purpose-built disability centre in Luton is crucial. We really need that. And I think it's for the community and it's getting done by the community with local people raising the funds for it.
MashaAllah. And I was actually quite surprised. I've known of Friends of Bright Eyes, but I never actually knew they never had a dedicated centre. And that really surprised me, considering the amount of support they've given to not one generation, many generations of families in Luton, MashaAllah, and the fact that this centre is possibly going to be now built. So did you guys meet your target? Has the money that you wanted to raise get raised?
I believe so. I believe everyone had their own sort of independent targets or what they wanted to hit. A lot of people did hit it. I think overall as a group we raised upwards of 40,000. I don't know what it's standing at right now, but I remember at the time we had over 40,000, I believe. I also went on the hike with two of my brothers.
Okay.
So originally the page was set up for just them two at £2,000, so 1,000 each to raise up. But then I joined in. So we moved up to 3,000, but we exceeded it. We were past 3,500 the last time I checked. So, every penny helped. And, we're just hoping that people just keep supporting, keep donating to this charity. I think there's one thing I want everyone to take from this is when you have 5 minutes, just read up about the charity, read up about the initiative, what they're trying to do in Luton. And I think whenever you give money, donate to charity, just read up about the charity you're giving it to, what work they're trying to do, and get behind it and see what other ways you could support.
Now, Friends of Bright Eyes is a charity that you've been fundraising for. And how long have you known about this charity, Etisham? Is this something that a charity that you're familiar with whilst you were growing up?
Me, myself, personally, no. So initially when I got told about the charity, I read up about it, and even just like yourself, I was shocked as well that there was no purpose-built centre within Luton. We're very lucky as in we have many different centres, nearly every area you have community centres that help out, but to see that there's no purpose-built centre because there's so many disabilities. We mainly, when you think disability, you have certain things where, a person who can't walk, a person who has problems with speech, but disabilities are more than, some disabilities are not visible that we don't know about. That's why we need a purpose-built centre. We need people in there, specialists that are trained in a variety of different disabilities that could help out and support.
Definitely. And I wanted to ask you, Etisham, 6 days prior to doing the trek, the Three Peaks trek, what sort of mindset did you take with you to actually prepare you to get up these three mountains? Now, name me those mountains. What were they?
The first one was Ben Nevis. Then it was Scafell Pike. Sorry, the first one was... the first one was Ben Nevis, then it was Scafell Pike, and then it was Mount Snowdon.
Wow.
So it starts off in Scotland, then down to England, and then final one is Wales.
Wow. in 24 hours, and you did this in 23 hours. Did you ever think you weren't going to complete this task? Did you ever think, or did your family support you on taking this journey? Did they say, like, are you crazy? Because listening in, it does sound super, super crazy, but you guys have proved it. You've done it. Etisham? I think we've lost him. I think he may have gone off for another hike. We'll connect back to Etisham's call. Oh, Assalamu alaikum. You're back from your hike. Which mountain were you planning to go up this time?
That's it. No, I was just saying, initially when I took it on and I told everyone, yeah, look, I'm going on the hike this weekend. Everyone just looked at me like, are you sure you know what you're doing? Like, I don't think you understand the task and the challenge ahead of you. This is something people train months and years for.
And you're at 6 days.
You know, yeah, and I'm just there smiling, thinking, it can't be that bad, can it? But initially, I think half an hour into the walk, we were all told to focus on your breathing, just focus on your breathing, your strides, take it easy, and get your pace right and keep at that pace. That was the key thing. If you want to stay on time, stay on track, keep at that pace, keep the breath at a certain speed. And about half an hour in, I hit a wall. I was literally close to tears. I was like, what have I done to myself? I can't do this, People train so long. I've underestimated this because, I've been climbing for half an hour now. And the mountain is still in the clouds from me. How am I going to reach it? But once I got to the first one completed, and, I was there and all the brothers supporting each other, one another, helping each other out, motivating each other to get through it. After that, it was just I think it was a determination. We knew people had supported us. We knew the cause we were doing this for, and we tried to come back and make sure we never disappointed anyone. Pushed each other on. Everyone picked up little knocks and injuries. Your joints are hurting, your ankles are hurting, but you're just thinking, if I could just get this mountain done and get the next one done. And then that's just the focus and getting to that finish line. And when you saw that finish line, it was the best feeling I've had in a long time. Oh, wow.
And what were the things that came in your mind when you'd actually got to that finish line? Did you say anything in particular, or did you think of anything in particular?
I think it was more when I finished it, firstly I was a bit shocked. I was like, you know what, I can't believe I've actually done this. But then also, you look around, everyone's got a smile on their face. We've completed this task, but also we've raised so much money that's going to such a good cause. And, hopefully we've already started to plan to maybe possibly do another challenge next year, get some more funds raised for this charity, because we know how crucial this is to Luton as a whole.
Have you learnt something about yourself and the fact that what you can achieve? Because these were not small little hills, these were huge mountains.
I think there's a whole world out there that I haven't really seen myself, and there will be there's challenges out there, and they're meant to push you, and you won't know how far you can go until you push yourself and go for them. And it's as simple as that. Until you don't push yourself, you will never know.
And is that something that you would maybe suggest to people listening in, to actually face certain challenges, kind of push yourself a little bit more, to go out there and do what you've always wanted to do?
100%. I think, there's so much out there that we just don't know about. So, it just takes a bit of research. And, like I said, I never saw a mountain in the UK before in my life. And the first time I did, I saw the 3 highest ones, and I walked up and down within 24 hours.
Wow.
So you can do it. It is doable. You just got to keep pushing yourself. You got to stay focused, and it hurts, and emotionally you're drained, physically you're drained, but you just got to keep going. And I promise you, when you look back on it, it's so worth it.
Now, you spoke about the bond between the brothers that were travelling with you. There was about 20 of them. Has this brought you guys closer together? Because you're kind of, I think you come under the name of the Beardy Hikers.
Yeah. So in total, we were almost split into 2 sort of camps, like 2 sort of groups travelling up. So the Beardy Hikers, that was, of course, we were sort of Bilal's group. So we knew each other from before. A few of Bilal's friends. I've lived on the same road as Bilal my whole life. And then a few of his cousins. So we were in one group, and another group with Yasser, who works in charity, and his friends, sort of thing. But I didn't really know them before the challenge, but as soon as we got on that mountain, we'd see each other wearing the FOBE shirts, and that's it. We were, motivating each other. Come on, we could do this, pull through it together, and pushing each other to get there. And by the end of it, the bond was really strong because we relied on one another. Because if you are alone and you're climbing up a mountain and it's cold and you're in darkness, it can get tough. So you really need the support of one another there.
And some people can't tolerate their friends for like more than 3 hours. You guys were together for 24 hours. That's a task in itself.
100%. I mean, it was just, when we got back into the coaches, it was just, everyone had a long list of pains and problems that they had from the last mountain.
Wow.
But, it was just, everyone knew with every mountain that we accomplished, we're like, look, we've done one now. The first one is actually the highest one, so the main thing was, look, we've done the highest one possible. It could only be easier, but it did probably get harder, but it was just pushing one another on, helping each other out, and won.
Wow. Now, folks, if you just tuned in, you are listening to no other than Etisham Khan, who is one of the 20 brothers that participated in the Three Peaks Challenge. The whole purpose was to climb up England, Scotland and Wales' highest mountains within 24 hours. A challenge. The whole purpose of the challenge was to fundraise much needed money for Friends of Bright Eyes, a charity very much known, very much loved, but doesn't have a actual centre for the care of the children and for the families, respite care for the disabled children in our community. So the whole purpose of this challenge was to fundraise for this centre, a dedicated centre. Now, Etisham is on the phone with me this morning and he's been sharing his experience, which has been absolutely phenomenal. He's taken time out of his working hour, and thank you so very much for doing that, Etisham. Now, on today's show, Etisham, we're also kind of continuing with our student life feature, Student Fortnight, and I wanted to ask you about your experiences as a student. Did you go to university?
No, I didn't. So when I was come out of college, I was sort of thinking, deciding, should I go uni, should I not? For me, it was, unless I have a specialist topic that I wanted to study in university, there's no point going. It is an expensive thing. I mean, great getting a degree and all, but you got to make sure that it's worth it. So I decided I'd wait for an apprenticeship that I liked. And I found one at Santander, which was an 18-month apprenticeship in financial crime. So I've worked in multiple areas, and I completed it approximately 2 months ago. And since then, I've got a full-time job at Santander,
Mashallah,
the corporate office of London. So.
Wow! So you are climbing the staircase of financial analysm, whatever that is. Tell me more about this post. So you actually didn't follow the typical route. You went down an apprenticeship route. Did you have to go? Was it a tough process to get onto this apprenticeship? And where did you get the information from?
So I had a part-time job on the side. So I was there. I was at work one day and just looking online for apprenticeships. And I see this. I didn't really know what a financial crime analyst was or what this whole field was. But I took there was a few online tests, just the normal situational ones. Took them, and then I called in for an interview. And of course, you've got competency-based questions. Then you have a whole scenario-based questions as well, just to see how your thinking is. And got offered the role. I took it with both hands because I'm getting certificates in anti-money laundering. I'm getting an apprenticeship on that, and I'm also getting paid. Therefore, I could provide for myself. Like I could pay my own bills, I help out at home. I could be my own man at a young age and take it on. And then from there, I was lucky as in they let you work in multiple different teams.
Okay. And
whichever one you like the most is where you know that this is the career you want to pursue, you take it on there. So currently I work for the sanctions screening team. So I'll be looking at corporate payments against the sanctions list and if there's any hits, I'll have to try to discount them to the best of my ability. They can't be to go back to the client and so far and so forth.
So it's quite an exciting job then for you. It sounds like a very strong title. It's very like financial crime analyst. Is this something that you always wanted to be when you were older? It sounds quite superhero. It does. And can I ask you how old you are, Etisham?
I'm 20 years old.
20 years old, mashallah. Still very young. And but Etisham is somebody who didn't go down the typical route of a university education. He decided to do apprenticeship, mashallah. He's landed in a role that he's very happy with, it sounds. And now the journey is just all the way up. You're just climbing that ladder, climbing that mountain. Where do you see yourself, Etisham, in the next couple of years?
I get asked this quite a bit. I'm not really one of them long-term thinking, or very short-term. I like to set myself small goals, achieving it, next goals. So it's been quite an experience because I'm now 20 and I really love Luton. So I liked having that. London for me was is a big city. It's just way too busy. But I've started to work in London, and since then, I love it. I love that fast-paced life. So in the next couple of years, I don't know, hopefully we could, I don't know what the future holds for me, but we'll see as it comes.
Now, this is interesting because there are lots of young people in Luton who've never actually visited London or left the town. Would you suggest that, everybody should try and take the opportunity to see beyond their hometown, to see what's going on out there in the world?
100%. I think there's a whole world out there that we need to explore, and not everything for us. You love your hometown. Is all you know growing up. Anywhere you go, you're at comfort, but you need to go outside your comfort zone. You need to see that fast-paced city life and how it works. And eventually, it does take a bit of time to get used to, but when you get used to it, it's an amazing experience as well.
And it helps with growth, and that growth is something that you were able to embrace because you took that challenge. You're not frightened of challenges, which is really quite interesting about Etisham, the fact that you climbed up these 3 mountains within 23 hours to raise money for Friends of Bright Eyes, and you took the challenge, you took a risk doing an apprenticeship, because normally people are, or the normal thing in society is to go down the university route. Apprenticeships are a new phenomena that a lot of young people are actually embracing and taking on board and are doing quite well. So any advice you could give to young people listening in that are possibly listening to the repeat of the show this evening, or the parents that are listening in, are regarding apprenticeships?
Yeah, I think look, university is a great option. When you get that degree, that feeling, probably one of the best feelings in your life you'll ever get. But also, the best thing about apprenticeship is you are getting educated, you will get qualifications, you will get work experience, and you'll be getting paid at the same time. It's almost ticking all the boxes that you need. Sometimes you get qualifications, but you don't have the experience, so you have the experience, not the qualifications. So you're getting both at the same time. You're getting used to that working lifestyle and basing your life around work sort of thing. And I think the most important thing is, sit down with your family, see what's best for you. Really, whatever you do, you need to put your heart into it. You need to give effort into it. So you need to take a few deep breaths, think about the decision you're going to make sure it's right for you and what you're happy with and what you want to pursue. As long as you're happy with something, you'll give your effort in for it, and that's where you get the best results. And
you're happy with the journey that you're on right now, Etisham?
Yeah, I'm more than happy. I was really lucky. I feel like I stumbled upon an opportunity and, I took it with both hands, and, I'm grateful to this day.
Mashallah, mashallah. Could I quickly ask what you did at college? What did you study?
I studied business, IT and law.
Business, IT and law. And you did that, was that Luton Sixth Form or?
Yeah, sixth form. I went to Luton sixth form.
So business, IT and law. You went on an apprenticeship and mashallah, now you're a financial crime analyst. How awesome is that? Thank you so very much, Etisham. I don't want to keep you any further in your working time, but thank you so much for doing what you've done, and congratulations on completing the challenge, and congratulations on your future career goals as well.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very, very welcome. Now, that was Etisham Khan, who shared with us his experience of doing the Three Peaks Challenge, which he successfully completed within 24 hours. He actually did it in 23 hours and something seconds. He also talked about going on an apprenticeship, mashallah, and now he is a financial crime analyst for a very well-known company in the city of London. He did BTECs, or I believe there were BTECs at Luton sixth form, and look where he is now. So any opportunity is a good opportunity. You just need to find them. It's the end of the show, guys. Catch a repeat at 8 p.m. Thank you so very much for joining me this morning, and have a blessed week ahead. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Why not tune in to our live stream at inspirefm.org and follow and subscribe to our social media platforms at Inspire FM Luton.